Good morning, everyone. So today is it's a data day. So good morning, and so I'm Chamil Madusanka. Those who are joining today for the first time, I'm the organizer of Sri Lanka Colombo Developer Group of Salesforce, and so today we are going to start a new series of sessions. It's on Tableau. So Tableau is the data visualization tool of Salesforce. Recently, Salesforce acquired this company, and so we have experts all over the world. So out of these experts, so I discussed with the very special person on from Australia regarding these Tableau sessions. So today we are having Mark Tossell from Australia. Mark Tossell from Australia, and his Mark's passion is enabling a data-driven transformation with intelligence and actionable insights. He is a recipient of Golden Hoodie in 2017. He is one of the prestige award from Salesforce, and he's a published author, thought leader, and also global Salesforce event speaker. Mark loves building smart business analytics that really works, combining business acumen with technical skills to create the intelligent information insight. He has vast experience in data analytics, and he has vast experience in IT industry. And so today we are starting with introduction to Tableau. We will have another. Please be muted. So we will start with the introduction to Tableau, and so we will have another 4 sessions in following weeks. We will inform the rest of the dates as well. So I would like to invite Mark to enrich our knowledge on Tableau. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you very much, Chamil. Well, hello to everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak to your developer group. I certainly count it an honor to hopefully share some knowledge and inspire you around the amazing intelligence platform that is Tableau. Just a little trivia point. I actually founded and co-led a Salesforce user group for about 4 years in the western suburbs of Sydney. And I'm quite passionate about the Salesforce and Tableau communities and really enjoy giving back. And I'm very excited to present to you today. And I suppose if you don't know who I am, so I'm a lead solution engineer at Tableau. And there's my email if you want to reach out. That's my Twitter handle. A good way to contact me if you have questions or you'd like links to further resources would be LinkedIn. And of course, I would love to hear from you. Now, my background is quite interesting. I have no really technology background, no formal IT training. And in 2016, I was hired to implement Financial Services Cloud. And I didn't know what Salesforce was. I was not familiar with a CRM. And I, in a kind of crazy moment, accepted the offer and took on the role of being a Salesforce implementer and admin. It's incredibly challenging at first, of course, as you would know. But with the help of Trailhead, with the help of the Trailblazer community, all the amazing online resources, the Ohana, I was able to successfully implement Financial Services Cloud. I then implemented Pardot marketing automation. And then probably for me, the most exciting aspect of my career, other than receiving the gold hoodie in 2017, was being able to learn what was then Wave Analytics, which became Einstein Analytics, and then renamed again as Tableau CRM and is today's CRM Analytics. So I got into the data space and that's my passion. I have a background in mechanical engineering, so I guess it suits the way that I think. And today I'm going to be talking to you about Tableau. I will mention briefly about Salesforce reports and CRM analytics in the context of data insights. So, of course, as with any presentation, please make any purchasing decisions on the basis of software that we produce that is currently GA, that you're used to that safe harbor slide, I'm sure. And I just wanted to thank everyone for being Salesforce customers and community members and trailblazers. You know, having been a member of this community now for 6 years, having worked at Salesforce and Tableau for 6 months after founding and co-leading a partner business of Salesforce and Tableau, I'm very passionate about the Tableau and Salesforce communities. Really glad to be with you here today. So we're going to look at an intro to Tableau. I'm going to walk you through just a few slides, not too many slides. Then we'll get into the fun part, which will be a live demo, and then we should have some time at the end for some Q&A and discussion. Chamil, I won't be looking at the chat window, so I won't see questions in chat. I'm more than happy for people to post questions in chat. We can either address them at the end, or Chamil, if you need to, just interrupt me at any time.
Yeah, sure.
So our vision at Tableau, we help people see and understand data. When Tableau was founded, it was founded for that very purpose, for the purpose of using cutting-edge, innovative visualization technology to help people see a story in their data and get value from that information. And that is our passion. That is our vision and mission. And for those of you in the Salesforce ecosystem, you know, you'll understand and appreciate that that aligns perfectly with the Salesforce vision, as our values align with the Salesforce values. And we all know that data-driven organizations perform better. For example, they're 1.5 times more likely to grow their revenue over 10%. They're 9 times more likely to retain customers, because all of that data gives you a complete picture. It helps you make smarter decisions faster, and it empowers your users. I imagine your experience has been similar to mine, and certainly the data itself backs up the conclusion that most organizations are falling short in delivering value from data. They're not data-driven. And very often it's cultural challenges. It's also related to platforms, technology, human resources. There are many factors involved, but our passion, again, and our vision at Tableau is to help organizations build a data culture on a scalable enterprise data intelligence platform. Now, I'm going to pause at this moment and ask the question, so what, right? I mean, honestly, we all see in our jobs heaps of slides, probably every day, and this is just could come across as just another set of slides. Does it really matter? Well, yes, it does. Let me give you an example. Recently, actually, I probably about 2 years ago now, engaged with a state government customer in Australia, very large organization, and they had invested many millions of dollars in CRM, in data warehousing, business intelligence platforms, but they had very serious challenges around going from data to insight to action. Now, they had lots of dashboards and reports, but you know what? Everybody has lots of dashboards and reports, but they weren't really delivering the business value, the organizational value that they needed. And we engaged with a senior individual, head of business and data, and we began to work with them around Tableau, around CRM analytics of Einstein, and over time, working with his team, with the assistance of internal resourcing, his leadership, the business that I was a partner in, we were able to really turn things around. And the transformation was astonishing. Getting data-driven insights in front of people, was a game changer. They were spending many hours in Excel, combining Salesforce data with other sources of data. They were then taking the eventual result of that, literally screenshotting it, moving it into a PowerPoint slide, delivering it as a printed PDF to government leaders. Wasn't working well at all. It was very inefficient, very static. The results, obviously, of those insights were out of date by the time they got to the recipients, and that was all completely turned around through the power of data. In their case, combination of CRM analytics and Tableau and Salesforce. So that's why it's important. You know, data culture is the key to success in this space, but data culture is dependent upon your choice of technology, how you use technology, and there are many other factors. Chamil, it might be worthwhile. One of my sessions, I think, should be on the subject of building a data culture, because that is completely, very critical. But what does a data culture look like? So you would have all seen these examples on the left-hand side. People working in silos, people making gut-based decisions, duplicative data efforts. You know, you might have people in Salesforce, you might have 100 users and you'll have 15 people building essentially the same report, right? Or people building very similar reports in Excel. The numbers don't agree. It's a mess. It's inefficient. It's hindering decision-making. Great quote here. We are overwhelmed by data, underwhelmed by insight. But what does a data culture look like? Well, instead of working in silos, we see alignment and visibility and transparency, which produces trust. Instead of gut-based decision-making, we see proactive data-driven problem solving. And instead of duplicative data efforts, we see a dramatic increase in efficiency and in productivity and all of the flow and effects of that to the business. At Tableau, we partner together with our customers with technology and culture to deliver amazing results. We have an innovative platform, proven methodology, and a passionate community. And I don't have to talk to you about community today because you're part of a Salesforce dev group. You know all about what it is to be a part of a passionate community. I want to just pause here for a moment. Tableau is the world's leading analytics platform. And I could probably reference that. I could probably back that up with some reports from people like Gartner and McKinsey, et cetera. But we empower everyone to make smarter decisions faster by providing them with a complete and trusted picture. And you'll see in here up the top there where it says engage and interact. It's native. We can push those results back into Salesforce to give embedded native analytics. We bring in Salesforce data and obviously many other data sources. You've got the data management layer. You've got the ability to connect to many different sources of data, to deploy anywhere. It has a tremendous amount of flexibility and capability around security, governance, compliance, leveraging APIs and the ecosystem. And from a Salesforce developer group perspective, as you look at the technology stack within the organization where you work, as you consider this, just think through the richness of data. Think through the complexity of data that is available at your organization. The amount of data that we're gathering and curating today is staggering, but the amount of value being delivered from that data is most often underwhelming, disappointing. It's a huge challenge for organizations. I think someone might need to go on mute. Thank you. Just want to bring you this slide before we get into the details around Tableau itself. Really common question that I'm faced with as a solution engineer and before as a partner. What tool do I use? We've got Salesforce reports. We've got CRM analytics, previously known as Tableau CRM and Einstein Analytics. And we've got Tableau. What on earth do we use where? Well, first of all, Salesforce reports. They're your go-to option for a quick win based on real-time data. They're quick to configure and Salesforce admins can manage those reports. CRM Analytics is designed for Salesforce users. I think of CRM Analytics as process intelligence in Salesforce. I do not think of CRM Analytics as your business-wide intelligence platform, and it's not designed to be that. You want to quickly embed and action analytics in Salesforce. You're delivering insights to Salesforce users. You want to be able to take advantage of easily embedded no-code AI. You want to inherit Salesforce security and sharing. You want a seamless two-way integration with Salesforce. Tableau is your business-wide enterprise, bring data from anywhere, deploy insights to anywhere, business intelligence platform. Your insights are going to be shared among Salesforce or non-Salesforce users, or you're not using Salesforce. You do want the option of an on-premise architecture, and you need a lot more flexibility around how the BI platform fits in with the business technology stack. One quick example could be in a large organization, you might be building up a data warehouse in Snowflake. You've got Salesforce, you've got other external platforms. You want to be able to both deliver actionable insights in Salesforce, process intelligence, and you also want a broader BI business intelligence platform connecting to Snowflake, connecting to other platforms, deployed to people who aren't using Salesforce. In that case, you might be a fit for some insights in CRM Analytics on platform in Salesforce, delivered to Salesforce users, and then using Tableau as your broader BI platform across the business. What are the differences between CRM Analytics and Tableau? Very briefly. And Chamil, if you remind me, I'll share these slides post-call because I don't want to take too long on the slides themselves. I want to get into the demo that I have planned. But very quickly, what's the difference between CRM Analytics and Tableau? So on the left-hand side, where you see the column chart, that's CRM Analytics, and then you've got Tableau. So for CRM Analytics, it's Salesforce Process Intelligence optimized for CRM. There's an echo there. Yep, thank you. You've also got Tableau, which is your enterprise general BI platform. It can leverage data warehouse, embed into non-Salesforce apps. All three platforms have data connectors, data prep, and data visualization. But again, CRM Analytics optimized for Salesforce. Tableau, more connectors, has a more powerful data prep tool. It can produce more complex and advanced visualizations. Security and compliance, CRM Analytics is very much focused on Salesforce. Tableau will leverage enterprise data schemes. Data location, so it's Salesforce first-party cloud for CRM Analytics on platform solution. So whatever node your Salesforce data is stored in, that's where your CRM Analytics will be stored also. Tableau, you can store the data on-prem, you can store it in a public cloud, you can store it in Tableau cloud. You have many options there. Embedding no-code AI and ML. For CRM Analytics, it's already provided out of the box. Tableau, we do have ways to connect to Einstein, and those are becoming stronger, more robust over time. And then CRM Analytics inherits Salesforce security, whereas Tableau, there is some work to do there if you're working with Salesforce around that security and permissions subject. So really quickly on this slide, there are many ways of bringing in your data science outputs, predictions, insights into Tableau. I won't go into detail on this one. I'm a passionate advocate of machine learning and AI, having worked with Einstein Discovery and Data Robot as two examples. You can use Tableau as your operational platform to surface those machine learning insights and predictions and help users to get back. Chamil, do you know why we keep getting an echo?
Yeah, I think
Is someone not muted?
Yeah, so I just muted them.
Oh, great, thank you. And then, of course, Tableau plus Salesforce, they're better together. And as you well know, just over 2 years ago, Salesforce acquired Tableau, and it's like a synergy, right? The sum of the two is the benefit of the two working together is greater than just the sum of the two individual entities. And at Tableau, we produce analytics that people love to use. All right, now for the fun part. Let me go into my demo environment. I'm going to begin here. Let me just move my bar out of the way. Just a second. Okay, excuse me. So I wanted to just pick an example for you to begin with to show you what the end result would look like. Just one second. Okay, so what you're seeing here, this is a publicly available dashboard. It is available on our cloud solution, which is free, which is called Tableau Public. And this is just an example of a sales dashboard built, of course, on dummy data. And this is just a quick introduction to the UI and the UX of Tableau. We're seeing here we have the ability, of course, to filter our data. I will also mention, by the way, that the performance of Tableau Public, if you do use it, and even watching the demo, is not as powerful, it's not as quick as our typical Tableau performance, because it's the free public offering. But even then, the performance is great. So I'm able to drill into these opportunities, my sales pipeline, by the different type of opportunity. Now, I'm just going to pause here. I'm hovering over this line. I'm looking at the values of that particular mark or data point. And what you're seeing there is completely customizable. So that tooltip has been customized. I can add a chart there if I wanted to. There's all kinds of ways I can customize that, etc. We can see a trending over here by quarter. And if I come in here, you'll notice that doesn't filter everything, it highlights it. So you have a lot of flexibility. When I click on the individual quarter, I'm highlighting the data, but I'm not filtering it. But if I go in and select a different product, if I go in and select a different opportunity type, then you're noticing that the data is actually filtering. So a lot of flexibility there in the Tableau platform about the way you interact with your data. This is a dashboard, and then we have various dashboards here. Each tab that you're seeing is a dashboard. Underneath each dashboard, this square here, this square here, this chart here, these are all worksheets, and I'll show you those in a moment. If you're familiar with visualization, these are bullet charts. You've got the line representing your target. We've actually colored these bars to show whether the individual for that period is over or under quota. So blue is above quota, red is below quota, as you might expect. We can also go in here. We can actually highlight the information. So I'm highlighting above quota, I'm highlighting below quota, but then I can also go in here, and if I wish, I can actually filter that information. So I've chosen there Midwest. I can choose Southeast. My information will filter. I can go to all regions. And then as you see here again, as I'm hovering over a data point, this is actually choosing a particular grouping as I hover over that, not an individual data point. You'll notice those lines there. Those are trend lines. Those are trend lines. And as I'm hovering over the data points, that grouping, you'll actually notice the change in the trend lines there. Then we have our map capability. And for example, if I wanted to, I can zoom in a particular area. I can hover over that area. I can also select data. So you have a great many options in Tableau around how you interact and work with information. I'll give you links post-call to some of these publicly available analytics. But for now, I just wanted to show you, what the end result would look like. I'm just going to pause for a moment there just to explain something to you. So with Tableau, if you are a creator of insights, then you're going to take advantage of the creator license, as it's called. You'll be able to ingest data from on-premise sources or a great variety of external sources, which I'll show you in a moment. You will build out your analytics and your insights, combine data, transform data. Now, to deliver those insights, you'll be utilizing either a public cloud, or you'll be utilizing your on-prem server, or you'll be utilizing the Tableau cloud. But those insights will be delivered to users. And this is an example of what that looks like. Now, what you can see here, this is a Tableau cloud or Tableau online instance, and we're able to go in here as a user. We're able to interact with our data. Here I'm selecting the various different years of sales performance. But you might be wondering, well, this is all great, but how do we actually get to this point where this dashboard is, it's approved for consumption by the business users? How does that all work? Where does that all begin? So we begin with Tableau Desktop. Tableau Desktop is our solution for creating insights. It's actually installed onto your computer. You can work with the web edit functionality, which means that where I was just a moment ago, if I go in here and I click on edit, I'll end up in a very similar interface to Tableau Desktop. But today I wanted to just show you what Tableau Desktop looks like. I think, Chamil, if you can also make a note, I would like to do a session, run a session on this aspect of our platform, this tool, which is Tableau Prep Builder. So Tableau Prep Builder, I'm not sure, where did that come from, Chamil? Can you see the writing on the screen? Chamil, are you there?
I think someone is using this.
How do we get rid of that?
I'm trying to remove it.
Is someone drawing on the screen? Maybe someone has their kids sitting in their lap.
Yeah.
Shall I stop sharing and share again, maybe? That might work.
Yeah, I think it will work.
So I keep seeing the name Perez come up as talking. So I'm not sure.
Joining.
That might be. Go ahead.
No, I think he's joining time to time. So we can
okay.
continue.
So I'm good? Okay. Just confirm you can see my screen again, please.
Yeah, I just remove the permission on using whiteboard.
Okay, great. So we can see all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so as I said, this is Tableau Prep Builder. This is our tool, ETL, extract, transform, load. This is where we combine the data, make data joins, etc. But today I'm going to show you Tableau Desktop. And this is where we begin. So on the left-hand side, you have various ways of connecting to data. So I can connect to flat files. I can connect to a server, right? So I could connect to Tableau server, which I showed you a moment ago. There I would have published data sources, and I'll run a session later on Tableau server and Tableau cloud to explain how all of that works. Incredibly powerful. I can connect, as I said, to files. I can connect to other servers. Just to give you an example, you have a huge variety of cloud data sources that you can connect to. So very common ones like Snowflake, Dropbox, Google Drive, et cetera, et cetera. We've got ODBC and JDBC database connectors. You have a huge number of options around that, okay? But what we're doing today, we're just going to connect to a flat file. I'm going to go to an Excel sheet and I'm going to open that. All right, what you're seeing here is the canvas that we use to build in. Sorry, this is our data area. We're about to get into the canvas. So I'll just begin over here. We can see we've connected to our local Excel file. And we can see that we've got 3 tables available. Now I'm just going to double click on orders. That brings the orders table into my view. And what you're now seeing is Tableau is preparing a preview of this data source down in the bottom. I also do have these other files, other tables over here. For example, if I have my granular orders data, but I wanted to augment that with data around people, there's a number of ways that I can join that information. The simplest, easiest way is just to create what we call a relationship in Tableau. And you can see here, I'm going to be adding a lookup for the person in the region. I'm not going to do that today. For now, let's keep it simple. We're going to work with one table. I've got a summary of my columns down here. Tableau is extremely intelligent. You notice it's already identified that this column here is geographical data, and this column here is geographical. So if I click on this drop down, right, I also can learn information. Oops, Chamil.
So please stop this this thing. I don't know who is doing that.
Just confirm when you can see my screen again, Chamil.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, great, awesome. Now, what I said before about the data type, if I click on this button here, you'll see it's been selected as a geographic role by country. This one here has been automatically classified as a geographic role by city. Then I have my strings. This has automatically been identified as a date. You can change those if you wish, but for today's demo, just for the sake of an intro, let's dive into where we begin to build. So this is a worksheet. I can have multiple sources, data sources. Today, I just have this one table from the Global Superstore. On the left-hand side, you can see that I have my dimensions and I have my measures. Tableau it's very intuitive. I've actually only been really seriously using Tableau for, I guess, 5 months, so not long at all. So you can learn it quite quickly. And part of the reason for that is the very powerful VizQL engine that it enables you to just select your data and Tableau will pick a suitable visualization right from the bat. So for example, let's say I double click on sales. Now we have a value of sales. I just want to go in and I'm actually going to, let's say, change the number format and let's make it a currency. So now we can see that that's a currency. Now I want to break that down. Let's say, first of all, I want to go into there and break it down by order date. I can go in here and I can, just by clicking on that button, this is a data hierarchy. I can actually break it down by quarter and by month. I can also go in here and say I want to break it down by, say, day if I wish. Let's say by month. Now I have my trend line, really easy to build that. I can also go in here if I want. I could add a trend line, or I can go in, I can add an average line really easily. I can format that very easily. You see, it's very intuitive just by clicking through, quite simple. Now I'm going to go back to this point. You remember we had this here. I go back to my data pane. Now let's say, for example, I want to actually break this down by segment. Let's say, you'll notice when I double clicked on segment, it created a column chart. When I double clicked on date, it created a line chart. The reason for that is in the background, Tableau is very intelligent and it's able to give me a very appropriate suggestion of the type of visualization that is helpful in my analysis. So I'm going to go in here. Let's go ahead and let's select I want to break down by segment and then product name. Oh, there's probably too many values of product name. What about region? Okay, great. Now, this is where I can begin to dive into my data. So I can switch this around, break it down by region and segment instead of segment and region. I can also go in and I might only be interested in a certain region. So I'm going to select this dimension here, region. I'm going to hold down Command or Control. I'm going to drag it into my filters. Watch what happens then. Now I'm given an option around which particular region it is that I want to select. Now I might only want to select, let's say, the West region. Well, I'm going to do that by segment. And we have someone playing with the whiteboard again. I'm not sure who's doing that. Maybe I'm sure you're doing it unintentionally. Be great if we could stop that. That's all right. I'll go in and I'll share my desktop again. Okay, great. Chamil, we're okay. We can see the dashboard.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Now, excuse me. What you can see here is I've now filtered into my data by the particular segment. I might want to add to that some values here. What I can also do is maybe I want to break this down and I want some information around the profit. So if I go in here and select profitability, now what you're seeing, I'll do that again for you, by dragging profit onto color, now you're seeing that over here, obviously the darker color is high profit, the lower color is low profit. Now we're getting an insight into not only the value of sales, but how profitable is our business. I can also go in and change the way that I'm filtering that. So in this case, I'm going to filter it by sales. I'm going to filter by sales. I'm sorry, I'm going to sort by sales. So I could also go in here. If you see this filter, I can show that filter on the right-hand side. Let's change this to a single value list. Very interactive. You can see it's very easy to build. That's the power of Tableau. It's a very intuitive process to go from data to insight to action. Let's try something else. What if I want to go in and I want to look at my, let's look at region and segment. Let's look at sales, drag that onto text. Now I've got a numbers table. There is a feature I wanted to show you here, which is called Show Me. Up on the top right-hand side, and at the end of the call, by the way, I'm going to share with you some learning resources so you can play with this for yourself. We can see Show Me. This is going to give me the ability, as you saw right there with one click, this gives me the ability to pick a recommended visualization for the data that I have on my worksheet. There are many different options here. You'll notice if I do this, some of them will work well and some of them will not work so well. So we've got a box and whisper plot, and a bubble chart, stacked column chart. But in this case, what I want is a highlights table. I don't like the way that's looking, so let's go ahead and switch the columns and rows. And voila, there we have it. I can go in, I can change the view. I could show you it fit the entire view, which doesn't really work terribly well for that. So let's leave that as it is. I have a huge amount of flexibility around how I format this data. There are a great many options. So I've built this here. I've got my column chart. I've got a highlights table. Let's add one more worksheet very quickly. Building a geo visualizations, building maps in Tableau is really quite simple. Immediately right there, I'll do that again, just by double clicking on a data point that's been identified as being geographic. Tableau will create a map for me. I can go in, I can change the type of map that I have. I quite like working with dark, so let's change to dark. That color isn't really working terribly well, but what I want to do is I actually want to use the quantity of sales to be visualized by color. So we can do that. Or if I want, I could go in here and I can use those points, and that's working better. What I think I'm going to do is actually change the, well, it's done it by size. Let's see, well, we could do the profit by color maybe. So now the color represents the profit. Blue is good, orange is bad. The size is representing the quantity of sales. And you can see this is really beginning to take shape. So now I've got three worksheets. I've got my column chart, I've got my highlights table, and I've got my map. Let's say I wanted to create a dashboard from this. And I'm obviously doing this super quickly, very simple. There's a couple more things I want to get to before we pause for Q&A. Let's create a new dashboard. Now we have a totally different UI. We've got our worksheets over here on the left with this really handy preview feature, which I can see what I've built. I can drag objects onto my canvas. and I can begin to build out a dashboard. So let's just really quickly, let's drag out our map here. So it's a bit challenging because I've got my Zoom bar kind of in the way. Just get rid of the legends just for now. I don't really want to have my title. I'm going to hide my title. I'll put my highlights table over here. Again, we'll do that in a second. And I want to put my chart up the top. Let's get rid of that. And I do want to have a title, so let's drag text up to the top. This is my test dashboard. Oops, sorry. Just put that there for now. What I can also do is, let's see, I actually don't like the way that's looking. Let's move this down. Let's move this down here. And we can actually, this won't look great, but just for time's sake, fit the entire view. I can put that there. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Don't like that. Now we can see our map. We can zoom into a certain area. Okay. Now what I can do, I can actually make this a filter. Just for the sake of this demo, let's hide these titles just so it looks a bit tidier. You notice now, as I'm selecting one data point, or if I'm selecting multiple data points, you'll notice that this sheet is filtering the rest of my data. How easy was that? Very, very quick and easy. So just a really quick example of how I started with my data source over here. In this case, it was a flat file. I grabbed out one of those tables. I began to investigate my data, analyze my data. Intuitively, you notice there was no code whatsoever. I can, if I want to, it's not code. I can create calculations really easily. I can create parameters, which allows me to create what-if scenarios. Obviously, there's a huge amount of power and flexibility in the platform, but I think that's just a good start. There's a bit of a quick hands-on demo for you to see what it's like to use Tableau. I do want to allow plenty of time for discussion and Q&A, but before I get into that, very quickly, I wanted to show you when I was showing you Tableau Online before. So this is Tableau Online. And I can go in and look at the users that are creating and consuming data. I can go in, I can have my saved dashboards. I can look at various accelerators. So Tableau has accelerators where, for example, with Salesforce, if I click on this one here, I can connect to my Salesforce environment. I can then use the pre-configured templates in Tableau. For example, this is an executive summary dashboard. I have a great many other pre-built dashboard templates here where I can bring in my Salesforce data. I can connect to it. I can deliver insights on Salesforce data to users who aren't in Salesforce or who are in Salesforce, because we can easily embed Tableau back into Salesforce. So this is Tableau Online. I publish data sources, workbooks. People can consume those analytics. Again, connecting to a great many variety of data sources. What I also wanted to show you, this is probably one of my favorite features of Tableau, and this is Tableau Public. So let me just click on here. Anyone who's on this call, you can very easily create a Tableau Public account, and you can get started learning Tableau. You can download the free app for your computer, connect to a publicly available data source, build a visualization, and then actually publish it back up to Tableau. So I've done a little bit in Tableau Public. I haven't done a great deal, but if you looked for me in Tableau Public, for example, if you're a cricket fan, I'm a massive cricket fan. So I just grabbed some data not too long ago. I created a dashboard around some of the greatest batsmen of all time. There's Sangakkara, for example, Jayawardene from Sri Lanka. You know, it was a fascinating exercise to drill into, you know, who were the greatest players over various different periods. You know, I can go in and I can look at the nation that they actually played for. So, for example, if I go in here and select Sri Lanka, there I see some of your amazing batsmen that you've had. I think Sangakkara is probably one of my favorite all-time players, actually. So that's publicly available. You can get your own, excuse me, you can get your own account really easily. And what I wanted to do as well was show you some of my favorite visors. So you can go in, as you can see here, you can actually favorite and keep visualizations that you find really powerful. Last thing I want to show you before we stop for questions is this here, just to give you an idea of what you can do with Tableau with obviously a lot of practice and experience. So this was a dashboard submitted for the Iron Viz contest, and you can see it's pretty impressive. I don't want to click anything because I hadn't prepared to do that. I might get us in trouble, but let's have a stab at it. This is the country. So if we say all, now instead of just seeing Australia and USA, we see the data from all countries. Yeah, there's a great deal of flexibility there. So right before we get into the discussion, I wanted to show you just a couple of last slides, and then we'll have time to have some questions. I'd encourage you to download a free trial of Tableau, or you can dive into Tableau Public. The free trial of Tableau lasts for 14 days, and that you can actually use. You can open existing workbooks. There's a lot you can do with that. Tableau Public is free and lasts indefinitely. And then we have a lot of online resources available. And again, Chamil, let's make sure to share these with everyone post-call. So I prepared this slide for you, some great learning resources. We have a ton of free training videos on tableau.com, which you can see the link here. You can take a Tableau test drive, which is an instructor-led introductory class, which you sign up for. That's free. There are embedded on-demand webinars. And then we also have Tableau e-learning. Some of that is free and some of that is paid. I know we're giving you a lot of information very quickly, but we'll share these slides after the call so you don't have to furiously scribble down these links. Chamil, that's a pretty quick presentation and demo. I'll now hand it over to you and we can maybe take some questions.
Thank you, Mark. It was a wonderful session. And I think most of the people, they got the idea about Tableau and starting with this Tableau. So I think I can see one question in the chat box. Prashant has asked, does the dashboard automatically refresh when source gets updated with new data?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it depends, what you're connecting to, how you're connecting it. With Tableau, you have a great many options around sources of data, how you connect to that data, how you sync and refresh that data. One example would be you can set up a manual refresh on your data. You can schedule the refresh of your data. Sometimes you can set it up so that as soon as you go into a visualization, it'll automatically give you the latest version of that data. There's a great many options around that. I think one of the benefits of Tableau, it is an enterprise BI tool. It's been around a long time, and there's a great amount of flexibility. The tool I showed you before, Tableau Prep Builder, so you can build in there your flow. I'll just very quickly show you. It's easier to show you than to explain. So in our Prep Builder, which I'll give you a demo of on another session, this is where we're building our data pipeline. So we're bringing in our data source here. We're cleaning, just give it a second to load. We've created a cleaning step here where we can go in and begin to cleanse our data. We're combining data sources here. So we're joining them. Again, there's a great many, great variety of ways you can work with your data here. At the end, you're going to create an output. Now, this is actually creating a file. We could go in here and publish a data source to Tableau Server or Tableau Cloud. Then you have options once you're in Tableau Cloud in that environment. If I go in here into Tableau Cloud, Then once we're in here, we can go in. If I were, say a server admin or a site admin, I can go in and let me look at my flows. These are flows, very similar to what I showed you a moment ago, but then we can go into this and we can schedule. We can schedule this flow. You can see here, schedule run flow every Sunday. Now that's the whole flow, right? You'll have multiple data sources being a part of that flow, whether they're flat files, whether they're online cloud sources. And you'll also, you'll be able to refresh those. There's a lot. It's a simple question with a quite a long answer. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah. So is there any other question from the audience? This is a good time to clarify things. So any?
Can we share charts in multiple platforms? So again, there's a lot that could be said about how you're able to share data with Tableau. Let me, again, sharing my screen is probably the best way to do this. Wasn't really set up. Let's quickly see. Let's go into, just give me a second. Those of you who've demoed before, you know what it's like when you're just doing this on the fly off the cuff. It's dangerous. So if I click on this share button, I can share with users. I can also copy a link, or I can copy an embed code, right? Now that embed code can be used in multiple ways. If I were to bring up, let's say, let me show you what that code looks like. This is where we get into your world because you're a developer and I'm not. So this is our embed code. And then this is how we would be able to share this in multiple ways. You do have to consider security and authentication. Again, that is another discussion. There are different options around single sign-on, around Kerberos and Chamil, and we can use Microsoft Active Directory for people within the organization. There is also something called embedded analytics. That's actually a really powerful tool. So if I quickly go in here, whoops, it's in the way. This is just an example of how a customer can build analytics using Tableau, and then they're able to deliver it in a using obviously the browser experience to a great many individuals outside of the organization. So this is actually built on Tableau, but it would be branded for an organization and delivered, again, with a variety of options around how you would govern security and authentication, etc. But users are able to go in and dive into a dashboard. They've got a very simple UI here where you can, export it as a PDF, as an image, export the data, save views. You can subscribe to this dashboard, filter, take action, and this will all look like it belongs obviously to the customer, but in actual fact, this was built with Tableau. So you have a tremendous variety of options around how you can share it, embed it. You can use the mobile app. Huge amount of options. Lots of people are asking about the recording, and I see the answer in chat, but we will be sharing a recording. We'll also be sharing the slides, and you'll have those learning links there. I would really encourage you, best way to learn, I'm sure you agree, is to get your hands dirty, to play with it yourself. Get a Tableau trial, get a Tableau public account. Chamil will stay in touch with you. We do actually have 5 sessions on this. I've never run a series of 5 sessions in my life, so I must really love Sri Lanka. Chamil and I, let's work together on a schedule of what those subjects will be and when they'll be presented. I imagine it'll be a time like this on a Saturday because this works out really well for me. I'd love to dive into maybe a session on Prep Builder, maybe a session on Tableau Online. Love to do one on data culture, and probably a deep dive into Tableau Desktop. Those might be the 4 topics. Yeah. But how different is Tableau Desktop and Tableau Online? That's a great question. So Tableau Desktop, when I began, Prashanth, was the application installed on my laptop, where it's a local application. I can connect to local or online data. I have many connectors available. What I do with that is I will build out a visualization. I'll use Prep Builder to build out a flow and a data set, or I'll use Desktop to build a data set, depending how complex it is. I will then publish those online to either Tableau Online, which is our SaaS offering. It's infrastructure provided as well as the visualization, or Tableau Server. And that's where you bring your own infrastructure, either online or on-prem infrastructure. And then when I publish those data sets, publish the workbooks and views, people then consume those via Tableau Online. Also in Tableau Online, you do have the web edit capability where you can edit those data flows and data sources and dashboards, etc. Tableau Desktop is a tool for your asset and content creators. That's the simplest way to answer it. Tableau Online is much more versatile. It's for creators, consumers, etc. And you'll have someone who will be your site admin for Tableau Online, who will manage security permissions, who can publish, who can't, make sure that it's all governed well, etc. I hope that answers your question. We're almost out of time, I think.
Yeah, so we are on time, and we have another couple of minutes for the questions. If you have any question.
Don't forget our photo if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I think there's another question. If I publish a chart inside SF, then will that chart refresh automatically upon changes done inside Tableau?
So you're talking about creating a visualization in Tableau and embedding it back in Salesforce. Yep. It's a very similar question to the one that was asked before around when the data is refreshed or synced. So that is completely dependent on how we set that up in Tableau. So that depends on the refresh rate, because with Tableau embedded in Salesforce, even if we're pulling in Salesforce data into Tableau and then pushing the analytics back into Salesforce, it all depends on how Tableau is set up, how the flow and how the flow scheduling is set up, or if it's set up for manual data refresh. That will determine the currency of the data. Generally speaking, if the analytics in Salesforce are not going to be shared outside of Salesforce, it's usually a use case for CRM analytics or Einstein analytics, not for Tableau, but case by case. Can we get everyone to turn on their camera or their video so we can get a photo? That would be great.
All right.
It's a great crowd today. I'm really glad everyone was able to join.
So I think there are more undergraduates as well, because I contacted University of Moratuwa. So they
great.
have a different subject in their business faculty for related to data. So I directly contacted lecturers, and so I shared the link with them as well.
Great.
All right, so others, are you going to open your video? It's a quick snapshot. Okay, I think others.
Great. Thanks, everyone. I'll make sure I fix my hair for the photo.
All right, so let's take them. Okay, I'm going to take the photo.
Thank you, Chamil. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. And so I think we don't have any questions now. Thank you, Mark, Thanks for accepting the invitation and preparing the bunch of topics to share the knowledge with Sri Lanka community. And as we discussed, I think the prep builder is one of the topics that we have included in the public, Tableau public, desktop, and the other topic. So we'll be scheduling the next session. I think, Mark, this time would be perfect, right? So
Yeah.
this time slot. So
Yeah.
we will use the same time slot, and we will be creating the meetup in the developer group link, so you can follow the things. And also, if you have any comments, any feedback, you can use the Google form link I shared. And also you can subscribe the YouTube channel of Sri Lanka community. Then you will get the notification when we upload the recording.
Thanks, Chamil.
With that, I think we can conclude the session. Thanks, Mark. Thanks all the participants for joining us, and hope to have you guys in the next set of sessions as well. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.